kernels loaded with low-cost protein, much more than in meat or eggs. Nearly half the weight of seeds is of edible oil. Shells provide fuel for industrial boilers. Rhizobium in roots fixes atmospheric nitrogen and improves soil quality. Post-extraction cakes and leftover foliage provide feed and fodder for cattle. Everything about the groundnut is usable and valuable with tangible economic significance. It remains a crucial oilseed and supplementary food crop for India. It is a matter of great pride for our nation that India ranks among the top 3 producers and exporters of groundnuts in the world. Our sweet, crunchy nuts with better shelf life continue to gain popularity in the global markets. 7 Indian states cultivate 90% of our groundnuts. Of these, Rajasthan mainly grows bold varieties. Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh, both bold and Spanish varieties, and the other states, that is Maharashtra, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, focus on growing Spanish and Valencia varieties. No GM varieties of groundnut are grown in India. The crop is grown in all the cropping seasons of a year in India by small and medium landholders who follow good and time-tested agricultural practices. From June to November, also known as the Kharif season in India, the crop is mainly rain-fed. The Kharif crop contributes more than 85% of India's production. During other times of the year, that is, in Rabi season, it is grown under residual moisture or minimal irrigation situation, or as an irrigated crop. In the past 6 decades, groundnut manufacturing in India has transformed itself. From being a cottage-scale operation, it has now evolved into a state-of-the-art industry aided by technologically advanced features like fully automated machine-driven processing that requires either no or bare minimum human touch. Today, global quality safe-to-eat groundnuts are produced in India by adopting the principle of good manufacturing practices. These are integrated with HACCP, hazard analysis and critical control points. Processing infrastructure critical control points. Buildings to be fully covered and free from leakage and seepage. Air pressure curtains at every entry point. Dust-free ventilation and adequate lighting with all sources of light covered with shatterproof shields. Area around the building to be fully paved to avoid dust and growth of weeds. Separate warehousing facilities for raw material, finished goods and rejections. Placement of rodent traps and UV insect traps. Personnel critical control points. Health checkup of all workers at regular intervals. Training of workers for exercising utmost hygiene at workplace. Processing line critical control points. Visual inspection and testing of raw material. Calibration of optical color or laser sorting machine. Sampling of consignments for analysis of quality attributes. IFS, ISO and BRC certification. Periodic calibration of all the equipments. In-shell groundnuts are procured from trusted vendors and brokers. Farmers' stocks are inspected for wholesomeness. The samples drawn from the market lots are analyzed for moisture, FFA and aflatoxin contents. Adequate care is taken to properly cover them during transit to avoid exposure to elements of nature. At the processing units, these are stored in covered and well-ventilated spaces until decorticated. The principal components of GMP for groundnut processing line are pre-cleaning, decortication, flat screen, rotary and density separation, removal of metal pieces and stones, color or laser sorting, size grading, packaging. To start with, these farm stocks get pre-cleaned mechanically to remove extraneous matter like dust, gravel, pebbles and stones, metal and plastic pieces, lumps of clay and pieces of groundnut and other plants. Thereafter, it goes through a process of mechanical decortication. while the bulk of shell pieces and dust are collected outside the processing hall. The remaining material, which is the mixture of whole as well as split kernels and whole small pods, is conveyed sequentially to flat screen and rotary separators. Thereby, the mixture gets separated into whole large kernels, small kernels, and small intact pods. After this, the graded whole kernels are passed through a destoner, which gets rid of stones and other high-density impurities. The kernels moving along the processing line are sampled and analyzed for aflatoxin content. This has to be well within the permissible limits as low as 2 ppb in ready-to-ship lots. Discolored kernels are usually highly contaminated with aflatoxin. Sorting machines are used to demarcate these kernels into mainline and sideline. Some of these machines are even laser-based. Depending on the extent of rejected kernels, a second pass might be required for further sorting and enrichment. The product is now almost ready for packaging. Some countries require products untouched by human hands during processing. To meet their requirements, this sorted material is taken to the packaging section, where it gets filled in bags, weighed and sealed. These bags are passed through magnetic catcher to remove any ferromagnetic materials. Most importers, however, do not want any discolored kernels. For them, the discolored kernels are left over in the machine. Sorted material are visually identified, hand-picked and sorted out by the trained workers flanking a belt conveyor. This final product is practically free from discolored, broken or split kernels. Depending on the client's specifications, the groundnut is packaged in 50 kg gunny or perforated high-density polypropylene bags or 25 kg vacuum bags with or without a second protective cover. It is often packaged in 850 to 1250 kg jumbo or tote bags also. Quite often, pods of uniform size are also exported as in-shell groundnuts. These packaged groundnuts are stored in stacks based on plastic pallets in well-aerated spaces demarcated for storing finished goods. Blanched groundnuts are the kernels devoid of their natural pink or red skins. The kernels are first subjected to a draft of hot air in a chamber having a perforated metallic conveyor belt, which moves in a laminar manner. By the time the kernels reach the lowermost layer of the belt, they get just sufficiently heated for peeling of skins. These heated kernels then pass through another chamber, identical in design, but receiving air at ambient temperature to facilitate rapid cooling. This step further loosens the skins, and the skins get almost completely removed during the next step when the kernels come in contact with rollers with abrasive surfaces. These separated skins are sucked and diverted, while the blanched kernels are delivered on a conveyor for removal of partially or unblanched kernels by hand picking. Similar machinery can be used for producing roasted and blanched groundnuts by exposing the kernels to higher temperatures. Thereafter, these bags are stuffed into a clean container. The walls of this container are covered with corrugated paper liners to avoid direct contact with the bags. This container also has packets of moisture absorbents. Sometimes, if the buyer so wishes, the container is fumigated. Eventually, just before the voyage begins, a tamper-proof coated seal is put into place. Some consignments require refrigerated container. In such cases, the bags are pre-cooled prior to stuffing and stored in a cool warehouse maintained at 12 to 15 degrees Celsius. The Indian groundnut industry is fully equipped and committed to producing groundnuts of international standards. Aflatoxin levels are also monitored through in-house sampling. All operations are process controlled using closed-circuit televisions. Processing infrastructure critical control points. Our production buildings are fully covered, well ventilated and seepage-free with leak-proof roofs. The interior walls are smooth with dust-repellent paint or ceramic tiles. We use paved flooring, usually with vitrified tiles and paved compound to prevent dust and pests. The production hall is well lighted and all electric lights are covered with shatterproof shields. We maintain a wide separation between the arrival point of raw material and the dispatch point of finished goods. Toilets are placed outside the main processing space. The plant gets cleaned thoroughly when not in operation and all litter completely removed. All our plants go through periodic inspections and any machine found dysfunctional gets promptly repaired. Personnel critical control points. Workers are also trained to maintain high standards of hygiene within the processing areas. And follow a strict set of behavioral do's and don'ts while working. All records are maintained meticulously so that any process flaw can be immediately diagnosed, analyzed and corrected. The production floor has prominent displays that streamline the stepwise procedures employed for manufacturing. These displays also specify cautions and warnings. In fact, pest control itself can become a major challenge in these premises. For controlling pests, besides rodent traps, yellow sticky paper, UV insect traps are used. Both the stock and warehouse get periodically fumigated. India's quality control of groundnuts does not end at the production unit. Agriculture and Processed Foods Products Export Development Authority, also known as IOPEPC, keeps a strict watch on the quality and food safety standards of the consignments. Independent laboratories under IOPEPC scrutinize random samples from ready-to-ship consignments. They also oversee stuffing of the container and issue a stuffing certificate, without which IOPEPC will not issue a certificate of export. IOPEPC, or the Indian Oilseeds and Produce Export Promotion Council, understands this and works towards ensuring that the main stakeholders in the production process should be able to meet the various needs of the importers in terms of food safety and quality. Yet another leading player in the field is Government of India's Directorate of Groundnut Research. This directorate, based in Junagadh district in India's Gujarat, has 23 outreach centers to touch base with all important groundnut growing regions in India. Besides undertaking scientific research to develop good agricultural practices in all these regions, the directorate also provides technological backstopping to the groundnut industry to ensure supply of superior quality raw material. The Indian groundnut industry is committed to delivering groundnuts of the highest quality to consumers across the globe. We are doing everything possible to ensure this at every stage of groundnut production and export. Our performance in international markets reflects the world's confidence in us, but we believe that there is no room for complacency. We feel it is time to redefine our milestones and push our own limits. Perched on the wings of a supportive infrastructure, better productivity, streamlined expansion, and continued modernization of processes and machines, the groundnut industry in India is poised for attaining far greater heights.